something that I talk to my wife about all the time. And I wanted to ask this. I've been meaning to ask this question to you all for a very, very long time. But every time I do the podcast, I don't even think about it. But today, it didn't slip my mind. Is there a proper way to load a dishwasher?
Don't get mad. It's just what it is. Yeah, we talking sports. Shout out to Ingravenvids. Yeah, this feels like a dream.
Now, some of y'all might think I'm joking, but I'm really not. I think there's a proper way to load a dishwasher. Reason I say that because, and I know it's a dishwasher, so it's self-explanatory. You're supposed to wash the dishes for you. But me, when my wife loads a dishwasher, she just puts the dishes in. She throws them in. But with me, when I load a dishwasher, what I do first is take the squeegee, the scrubby, I don't know what that thing is called, but the thing that you use when you're washing dishes to like scrub all the little grime off, to scrub any excess food off, anything like that. What I do, I take that and scrub the dishes, make sure it's no like food stuck on there, anything like that. Say for instance we had spaghetti, then I'll rinse the dish off, or I'll run the water and I'll scrub any like red sauce off of there, because if you don't rinse it off that same night, then if you do it the next day or whenever, then that red sauce is gonna be on there. So I'll scrub that off, and I just scrub anything that's on the dish off, and then I'll load it a certain way too. I'll stack it a certain way, make sure all the dishes got their space and whatnot. And that's how I do it. When she does it, she just throw it in there. So that's my question to you all. Is there a proper way to load the dishwasher? But anyway, this episode of the Team Keep It Clean podcast, and I appreciate y'all listening too. The topic, the title, the question in this episode comes from my guy, Xenon. And I guess he was inspired from last week, because last week where we talked about why did Ravens Lamar Jackson get so much hate, that was a question that was asked by a couple of the patrons, because they wanted to just dive into it, like why, for what, what's the reason? And that's something that we could go on and on about literally forever, because there's so many different reasons. But I guess my guy Xenon, he was inspired to ask a question too, but completely unrelated to football, completely unrelated to Lamar Jackson and all that, which is fine. He said, I'm still young, but I would like to hear your perspective of how to find the love of our lives. Me, I'm no relationship expert. And I do like how you said it though. He worded it perfectly, because he said, I would like to hear your perspective. So he didn't just say, I would like to hear how we find the love of our lives, because that could be applied to everybody. But he said, I would like to hear your perspective. And so that lets it be known, like, hey, it doesn't mean it's the right answer. It doesn't mean it's the wrong answer. It just means that it's your answer. And that's a really good question. And I would say for me, personally, trial and error. Like straight up, man, trial and error, and a lot of errors, and some significant errors. But trial and errors, I would say patience, because there's no formula, man. I don't think there's any formula, but I think that there's not a formula. There's not like, oh, this is what I got to do to find the love of my life. I don't think that's it. In my opinion, my perspective, from my experience, I like with my wife, with her, I just, when you know, you know. That's it. When you know, you know. And when you're young, I like, for me, even when I was younger, I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I wanted to think that I knew, but I didn't know. And sometimes you can want something so bad, and you can want a situation so bad that you could end up settling for a situation that's not a good situation. And you could think like, oh man, no, since this is how it's been in my entire dating, I don't want to say dating career, but my entire dating life or whatever. Like, because for me, I had relationships before that were just a lot of drama. Oh my goodness. Thinking about it sometimes, I'm like, man, oh, I am so glad that just did not last. Oh gosh, like it's just drama, like non-stop drama. Like there's gonna be things that happen in any relationship, but when it's like non-stop, it's always something. Like always something. In my opinion, that's not good. But back then, when I was younger and was going through that, I thought it was the norm. I thought it was like, okay, well, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how a relationship's supposed to be. But the thing, like one girl that I dated before, it was always drama with her. But one of the worst parts about it was that, and I was younger, so I didn't know. I realized it, but at the same time, I didn't realize the long-term effects. I didn't look down the road. I didn't look down to the future. With one girl that I was with, always drama. It was always something, all the time, just straight craziness all the time. And her parents, her mom, encouraged it. Her mom encouraged it, and her mom was just as, I can't even say just as bad, because that's where she got it from. Her mom was even worse than she was. Her mom encouraged the drama. She encouraged it. So this was like literally injected into her veins. It was in her blood. The drama was in her, it was always something. Oh, it never ever stopped. But I thought it was normal. I'm like, okay, well, this is regular. So then it was like years later when I met my wife, and it was not like, and obviously before she became my wife, and we started talking and we started dating. I was like, this is weird. It was really weird. And I feel like initially when we started dating, I probably it was just different for me, because I didn't know that you could have, I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. I didn't know, not that I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what it felt like. That's what it was. I did not know what a healthy relationship felt like. And that's what I had with my wife. It was actually a healthy relationship. There was some little different things that happened here and there, but nothing crazy. And definitely nothing compared, nothing even close to what I had been in before. Like nothing close. But it was weird for me, because I wasn't used to that. And it just, I thought it was a norm. I thought that was how things were supposed to be. When you're supposed to have a bunch of drama, you're supposed to have a bunch of headaches, you're supposed to have a bunch of just, it's crazy. But yeah, with my wife, I think one of the things, probably my favorite thing about her, and about when we started getting closer and closer, one of my favorite things, and I think that this actually applies to everybody, no matter where you're from, no matter what. If it's the love of your life, then I think it has to be somebody that you can be yourself around 1000%. You can be you. You don't have to put up an image. You don't have to front. You don't have to put on. You don't know. You don't got to act. You ain't got to put on an act. You can be yourself all the time around that person. All the time. I think that is probably the biggest thing right there. Because how can you really like love somebody, and how can it be the love of your life if you can't even act yourself around them? If you can't even be yourself around them? How can this person like really be the one for you if you gotta put on a front every time you're around them? It like that would be draining. That would be so draining. Like and even like it's, I mean, not YouTube is not the love of, or for some people it might be the love of their lives, but it reminds me of the same thing with YouTube. Like if you were to go on YouTube, and some people do it, and some people make a lot of money from it. They get all popular, make all this money from it, but they end up being so drained. If you get on YouTube and you put on an act, like you act one way on there, and you're producing all these content videos, whatever, blah blah blah. You're doing all this stuff, but it's an act. That's not how you really are. And then you flip that, and then once you get off, you're like, okay, I can be myself now. Oh, finally. That's gonna be draining, man. That is gonna be so draining. It's gonna be very, very draining. So that's why it's like, for me, y'all, like if you know me in real life, you're gonna hear the dad jokes, like straight up, man. You're going to hear the dad jokes. That's one thing with me. But with my wife and Carter, they get it all the time. And people that, if I like really love you, if we really cool like that, if I like really, I'm really down with you, we super cool, I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about you to your face for sure, because it's more fun that way. I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna get on you. You're gonna get on me too. I'm gonna talk about you. But it's out of love, man. Just because it's laughs, man. We just be laughing. So if I don't talk about you, if I don't make fun of you, then we ain't really cool like that. We ain't cool like that. But if I make fun of you, like especially a lot, oh yeah, we super cool. That's all love right there. And that's just how it is. That's me. Not everybody is like that, but that's me for sure. So again, from my perspective, that would be another thing too. And it all depends. Again, this is my perspective. If they ain't got no sense of humor, nah, I'm straight. If you're gonna get offended from every joke, nope, I'm straight. Nope. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. If you're gonna be upset at every joke, nah. If you can't take a joke, if I can't talk about you and you can't talk about me, nope. Keep it moving. Not for me. And it's true, and that's how, for me, that's how it is with friendships now. That's how it is with friendships. Like if I gotta like be like, oh man, I don't know if I can say this around them, then we not gonna be like really cool like that. Not that we can't be cool, but we ain't gonna really be close like that. We ain't gonna be super close like that. If I gotta be like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. Nope, not a friend for me. And that's not offense to anybody, but it's just not my cup of tea. Because again, and that's how it is with my friends that I grew up with. It's just how it is, man. It's like it's a term of endearment, man. When you just getting on somebody. Even if you ain't seen them in a long time, you just get on them, man. You just talk about them, and that's it. So that would be another thing too. So I would say again, being able to be yourself around the love of your life will show you that there's the love of your life. And for me, again, being able to joke, talk about them, talk about each other, make fun of each other, and it just and you just roll with it. That's that. But like I said, it's for some people. Hey, some people meet that person and it ends up being the first person that they ever dated or whatnot, and then boom, it ends up working out for the long haul. Other people, like myself, it ain't work out like that, and that's fine. That's fine. It happens. I remember years ago. Years ago. Oh, This one girl that I think me and some of my boys, we used to go. It was in Broward. We used to go to what was it? Oh, that's what it was. One of my boys, he worked at like this ice cream place or something in Broward and Plantation. I forgot exactly where it was at. I don't think it was at the swap shop, but anyway, he worked at this ice cream place. And so when a bunch of me and my boys, we would go pick him up from work sometimes. And then we might chill there, we might chill in the area, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then I don't know if the girl, she worked there, or I forgot how he knew her, or how, I forgot what it was. But anyway, he was like, "Oh, Justin, I'm gonna put you on with this girl. You should go out with her sometime." And I forgot what her name was. I even forgot what she looked like, but I'll never forget how she acted. But anyway, her brother had a box Chevy. He had a box Chevy, and the Chevy was painted with either Reese's or Skittles. It was the whole thing was painted with the Reese's logos and all that, and the colors, or Skittles. It was either one of the two. And everywhere he went, this is no lie, 'cause I saw it for myself. But everywhere he went, as soon as he got out the car, he would throw Skittles. Oh, it was Skittles. It was Skittles. So he had the whole thing painted Skittles. So everywhere he went, when he got out the car, he would throw Skittles on the ground. He would throw Skittles on the ground. This was Broward. But anyway, he'd throw Skittles on the ground. I was like, okay, well. And then his sister, who my boy, he had tried to hook us up. He was like, "Oh, you should go out with her. You should go out with her." So we did that one day. We went out. I forgot where we went to eat. I think she wanted to go to Denny's. And I'm not a stuck-up guy. I would never be like, "Oh no, Denny's, that's so cheap. What would you want to go to?" No. I'm paying for, okay, no problem. We'll go to Denny's, that's fine. But anyway, I think before that we had like went to the mall or something. We went somewhere and we were walking around. And she was like, "You need to put your arm around me." I'm like, okay. And she was like, "Cause I'm a trophy girl." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm a trophy girl. I need to be shown off." And I was like, yeah, I knew right at that point, probably even before that point, but I knew right at that point, like, oh yeah, this ain't the one for me. And not saying that the girl's not supposed to look pretty, because they obviously do, but just that mindset, it just wasn't for me. It could be for some people. Again, nothing wrong with it if that's for you, but it wasn't for me. That nah. And because she was just very into her image, and I mean her brother obviously was too, but she's like way into it, and it just was like no. And it's funny because that night, that's how it's such a small world, because that night we were I want to say, I'm trying to remember if we were either on the way to get something to eat or we were coming back from getting something to eat. I think we might have been on the way to. But my homeboy's sister, she kept calling me. She kept calling. And then initially I ignored the phone call. But then I told her, the girl who I was on a date with, I said, "Man, she keep calling me. I don't know what for." But I didn't want to pick up because I didn't want to be that guy like, "Oh, what are you doing picking up the phone like on a date?" If you're on a date, that's supposed to be your undivided attention. But she was like, "No, go ahead, pick it up. It might be something important." So I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Picked it up. my homeboy's sister, she needed a ride somewhere. She needed to get picked up from somewhere and be dropped home. So I was like, oh, okay. So I told her, and she was like, oh, that's cool. Let's go get her. So went to go pick her up. I forgot where she was at, but went to go pick her up. And then it turns out that they ended up knowing each other. I'm like, man, like, what kind of stuff is that? Like, it's crazy because, but my homeboy whose sister it was not one of my homeboys who worked at the ice cream shop, or who, when we would go to pick up or drop off my boy who worked at the ice cream shop, it was not one of that group of friends. So it's like completely different group of friends. And my homeboy's sister, who we picked up while we were on a date, she ended up knowing this girl who I was on a date with. But it was crazy. But anyway, so that was that. But that was just a small little error. Like I said, for some, like I said earlier, when you know in a good way, but also when you know in a bad way too. Sometimes, like, you can be like, nah, this is not it's not the one for me. It's not it. And yeah, that was her. Oh boy. I've had another ex too, where it, like, a different ex from a different ex from the one that I initially was speaking of earlier, but another ex who it was like a little less drama than the previous ex that I was talking about, but it was like a higher level of drama. Like, it was like I did not know what was gonna happen next. It would happen less often, but when it happened, it was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What is it? Like, why? That's how it was with her. And it was just like, man, I like, ugh. And again, I thought that it was normal. Thought it was normal. Thought it was regular. That's what I thought. But that's why I'm extremely grateful for my wife, man, because I'm very grateful for her. Very, very grateful. Because she showed me, like, it does not have to be that way. It does not have to be all the craziness. It does not have to be all the shenanigans. It does not have to be just all the foolery. It does not have to be just all the wildness. It doesn't have to be that. And it shouldn't. Again, there are going to be little things here and there, but if it's like, nah, not for me. Whew. But I would, my thing too, I would suggest just being patient. Don't force anything. If you gotta force it, then it ain't nothing. It ain't real, man. That's with any relationship. If you gotta force a relationship, even just with being somebody's friend, nah, it ain't real. All that stuff, in my opinion, it should just happen. It should just happen. Like, they ended up, it's crazy because I know that there's two of it's long story short, you just don't force nothing. Don't force nothing. Because if you force it, it's not gonna work out. Whether relationship, whether friendship, whatever. Don't force it. Please don't. And I would say, just if you're young, I mean, that was one thing. I don't remember who, like, the first girl that I loved was, but it's like when you're young, you feel like if you love somebody and it doesn't work out long term, you feel like, oh man, like, wow, so is this how it's gonna be, or is that it? And you're not thinking down the road, obviously, and because it just happened. It could be fresh, and you could be young. You may be thinking, oh man, you might be down, but nah, that's another thing too. It ain't over till it's over. And when I was young, like I said, I thought that with some of those relationships, I thought like, okay, this is it. And when they didn't work out, like they didn't even, with those, especially the dramatic ones, they didn't just stop. Like, it didn't just stop. It wasn't like, okay, all right, it's over and it's done. It didn't just stop like that. Looking back at this, I wish it would have, but it didn't just stop like that. It took time for them to stop and come to a complete halt and just be done. But you just got to keep going, man. You just got to keep going. And I think when you're thinking about the love of your life in your relationship, I think you got to think long term. And when you're young, it's hard to do that. I know from experience. When you get a little older, it can still be hard to do that for some people. It all just depends on your mindset, man. It depends on where you are in life. It just all depends. And for me, I don't think there is I don't think there's a certain age limit on I don't think it's one of those. I don't think it's one of those things for people like, oh, you're too young to settle down. When they say that, if somebody like 20 something, the two people who dating, they like 20, 21, they might be like 19 and 19 or something. Now they're still young now, but I do not think like there's like, just because they're younger, like 19 or 20 or 21 or whatever, I don't think just because they're younger, like that means, all right, well, you should be doing this and that. You should be being all crazy right now. Da 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 da. No, I couldn't disagree more. I love seeing when people that are younger, when they know, and when they are like, when they're ready. If they're ready to settle down, okay, cool. You made a decision a lot earlier than some people. Good for you. I got no problem with that, man. Because stuff is crazy out here, man. Stuff has been crazy out here, but now it's even crazier than ever. So through all that craziness, if you can still find your significant other, especially early, and like it's really like significant other, oh, okay, cool. Another one of the best features, characteristics, traits that I think that you could find in your significant other would be somebody that's just down. They're just down. They're down for whatever. They're down just to vibe, man. Where y'all don't have to do anything special, nothing special, and y'all can have a good time. Straight up, that for me, oh man, like those three things. The three things that I mentioned: one, that you could be yourself; two, that you could just joke around, talk about each other, and three, that y'all can do whatever and y'all can have a good time. Those will be my top three. Those will be my top three. The reason being because that's just so important. It's so important. And y'all got to be on the same page with stuff too. But if like me and my wife, man, even before we were married, like, and I told y'all this story before too about our very first date, very first time we were chilling together, very first time. What do? Did we go to some nice restaurant? Even if it wasn't a restaurant that's so nice, did we go to like Olive Garden or Red Lobster or something? No. We went, I think we went to Walmart. And then after we went to Walmart, we went to the drive-thru at Wendy's. And then we went and watched Family Guy. That's it. First date. Walmart, Wendy's, Family Guy. And that was it. And it was simple like that. Super simple. So it's nothing like. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't, and even now, like obviously now we've been married. We about to be married 9 years in November. Ooh, that's 4 months away. So it's about to be 9 years of being married. But it's that simplicity, man. And not saying that you can't go to the fancy places, because we've been to some fancy restaurants, some fancy blah blah blah. But that came like way later, when we were dating. Man, I don't remember going anywhere fancy. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Well, we were, and again, not that there's anything wrong with it. But, and we ain't go nowhere fancy, man. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, so that's how it was, man. So again, this is my perspective. It's not how everybody's story is gonna go, because everybody's story could be different. Everybody got their own experience and all that. But yeah, man, we didn't go anywhere fancy. It was just very cause again, yeah, Wendy's. We go to the little well, it's called a carryout up there. But we went to Ugly Corner a lot. That's in Pompano, where Lamar's from. We would be over there a lot. We'd just be everywhere. Just not fancy places though. Cause me, I'm not that fancy type of dude, and I guess too with being around my guys that I grew up with, they weren't that fancy type either. I think that did have an impact on it though. Cause they weren't the fancy type. They weren't the type to be like at that point in my life, man. Cause I remember back in when I was in like high school and stuff, I used to love shoes. Especially Air Forces. Cause Air Forces back then, which you could tell how long ago that was, but Air Forces back then, those were real deal, man. With Air Forces, they boy, those things. Cause I used to get all of them, man. Shout out to my mom, man. She spent a lot of money on Air Forces, man. But like after high school and stuff, and especially around the time when I was dating my wife, or girlfriend at the time, but before she became my wife, I ain't care about no shoes like that. I ain't care about all that. I ain't care about clothes like that. I was just whatever, man. Like me and my wife were just over some of our friends' houses the other day. And they are our friends, because we go over there, have a good time, eat, drink, we get on each other. We talk about each other, all that good stuff. But the husband, because it's a husband and a wife, he was like, man, see, I already know what your favorite outfit is. He says one of those tank tops and some basketball shorts. I said, yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. I ain't got that's it. If I could wear that every day, man, because even when I be doing laundry, I don't know if y'all can hear Pookie crying in the background, because my wife just walked outside and Pookie is just missing her. But when I do laundry, sorry, Pookie, her whining distracted me, and I can still hear her right now. Yeah, y'all could probably hear, because I know this might be picking up a lot. But anyway, when I be doing laundry, and it'll be a bunch of my wife, her shirts, it'll be a bunch of Carter shirts and stuff, like actual t-shirts and stuff. Sometimes be with my wife jeans, Carter basketball shorts. Then I go to my clothes, and like it don't be nothing but like tank tops. And that's it. It'll be a couple t-shirts here and there. But it'll just be mostly tank tops, basketball shorts. That's it. That's all I'll be wearing. And I love it too. I love it. So I ain't complaining. But that's me, man. That's me all day. All right, she just walked back in, so Pookie stopped crying. But I'm with it, man. But anyway, and speaking of Pookie has been we've been bonding a lot more. I do love that dog. She gets on my nerves. She gets on my nerves. She is very annoying. But anybody who only people who I love, they can annoy me. If I don't care about you, you can't bother me at all. So that goes for people. That goes for Pookie. But anyway, but I think one of the ways that we have bonded and gotten a lot closer, and she's gotten a lot bigger, it's been from me giving her human food. Cause recently, like over this past week, I've been giving her plenty of human food, man. And I love it because she loves it. She appreciates it. And it didn't change anything with like her poops or anything like that. She been straight. I don't like feed her like whole meals or something like that, but I give her something though, man. I give her something. Like I gave her asparagus. I gave her a piece of my hamburger that had some ketchup and mustard in the bread. I gave her, cause Carter, when he eats a hot dog, he'll eat the hot dog and eat the bread and stuff, but he'll take off a bunch of the bread and stuff. And so I gave her that. Gave her a little piece of a chip. Did I say pizza already? I don't think I said pizza, but yeah, gave her the crust from pizza. My wife gave her a couple of peaches yesterday. What else? Oh, I gave her a piece of cinnamon a couple days ago. It's just all sorts of stuff. But I noticed that those ribs, we used to be able to see her ribs, like be able to see that rib cage when she'd be breathing and stuff, and sometimes she'd just be standing there. But now you can barely see it, and I love it. She is getting bigger. We took her to a dog park the other day. She had a blast. She loved it. She's getting bigger, and my boy told me, because I'm not really a dog person. I ain't like one of them people that, I do like dogs, but I don't know dogs like that. And with her, I just moving forward, or before, I was like, okay, well, however big she gets cool. She's not gonna be that big, all right, whatever. If she is, okay, cool, better for me. But anyway, one of my boys had told us a couple weeks ago. He's like, man, she's gonna be big. I was like, you think so? He's like, yeah, look at her pulse. And then when we went to the dog park the other day, a guy that was there, he was like, wow, she's gonna be pretty big. I can tell by her pulse. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm cool with that. So I'm looking forward to it. But she's doing good. As far as the potty training, we've been doing the cage training, or kennel training, whatever it's called. I call it a cage. I don't call it no kennel. I call it a cage. But we've been doing that to where we let her out to when it's time to pee, or when it's time to eat, or when it's time to poop. When it's time for her to eat and use the bathroom, she'll come out. A lot of times she's in. Well, I will of course still play with her and stuff. But that's been going pretty good. Only thing with her, but I can't get mad at that. The regular pee, yes, I'll get mad. If you sit up there and you in the house and you squat and you pee on the floor, oh yeah, I'm heated. But if it's the excited pee, that's fine. Because I know even grown dogs, like dogs that ain't got, like, I remember, I'll never forget, when I first met one of my boys, his dog, he got a boxer. I love that dog. Love it. Love it. That is probably, besides Pookie, and then was, especially when she gets bigger, but besides her, that's probably my favorite dog in the world. And her name is Millie. But it's a boxer. She is big. She is huge, man. And I love it. Every time I see her, if we go to my homeboy's house, she'll jump on me and stuff. I love it. She's crazy too. But the very first time I met her, and she's a grown dog, potty trained, all that. The very first time I met her, she peed all over the floor. All over the floor. And I'm like, man, like what's wrong with this dog? And this is before I knew about the excited pee. But I was like, what's wrong with this dog? And he was like, oh no, that's nothing. She just excited. And I was thinking like, okay. I don't pee on the floor when I get excited. But I was like, oh, whatever. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. So then, I think another time when I went to go see her, she did the same thing. It was a lot less pee. It was less pee, but she did the same thing. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is real. Because she's potty trained. But it just happens. So Pookie does do that. But she will do the excited pee, and she'll do the got in trouble pee. Now the excited pee, that's a couple sprinkles right here. Oh, I'm so happy, I'm excited. Because either it's a new person, or I haven't seen people in a little while, and now I'm getting to see them. I'm excited to play with all these people. That's that. But then then that's just a couple sprinkles right there in one spot. But the scared pee, oh, I'm about to get in trouble pee. That's the little trail. It'll be a little tiny puddle here, and it'll be a trail, and it's like, oh gosh. She hasn't pooped in the house though. She has not pooped in the house at all in forever. But the peeing, either from getting excited or getting in trouble, that still happens. So we working, man. We working on it. It's still a work in progress. But she's doing, like I said, she's doing pretty good. As far as we've been monitoring her extra close. Like we've been having more of a. She's getting more with her pooping. She has her regular hours more because she usually does it in the morning, and she'll do it maybe early evening, and then she'll eat like late night, or not late night, but at night. And sometimes she does it, a lot of times she won't, and she'll just wait till the morning. It's like she's a human or something. She'll take a dump in the morning. But yeah, she's doing really good, man. So again, giving her our bond was really from food. Like watching her get bigger, like I'm like, oh yeah, yes, this could be a fat dog. Well, nah, she ain't gonna be a fat dog because she move around too much. That's how I feel about Carter. Carter eats a lot, especially when he likes something, but he moves around too much to get big, like me. Like what were you watching the other day? We were watching something. Maybe he was playing a game, and it was like a fat character on there. He's like, "Oh, Daddy, that looks like you." So yeah, shout out to Carter, man. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my guy Xenon, because this is definitely a subject right here about finding the love of your life. But again, don't rush it. Take your time. And again, you'll know, man. You'll know when you know, and when you know it's a no-go, you know that too. But again, it's trial and error. Hopefully for you, you don't have to go through too much error. That'd be nice if you don't have to go through any error at all. You never know. But again, don't force it, and let everything come natural. And it got to be somebody that you could just have a good time with doing whatever. So anyway, love y'all. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.